Why your brain demands sleep. The mitochondria connection explained. The surprising reason your brain craves sleep. Have you ever wondered what's behind your brain's desperate cry for sleep? A recent study has finally uncovered the answer, and it's not what you might expect. According to Derek Lowe's latest post on science.org, the primal urge to sleep may originate in the unlikeliest of places, your mitochondria. But what exactly are mitochondria? And how do they control our sleep patterns? To understand this, let's dive into the fascinating world of cellular biology. Mitochondria are the tiny powerhouses within our cells, responsible for generating energy for our bodies. When we're awake, our mitochondria work tirelessly to produce energy. But as we stay up longer, they start to break down. The study, which focused on exhausted fruit flies, revealed that when the fly's brain cells' batteries, mitochondria, broke apart, got recycled or grabbed spare parts, the cells would desperately try to rebuild their power packs. This process triggered a cascade of 122 genes to switch on, most of which shouted, "Fix the batteries," and reset the nerve signals. By speeding up or slowing down the energy-making process, the researchers could make the flies feel sleepier or more awake. So what does this mean for us humans? The discovery turns tiredness from a fuzzy feeling into an energy crisis alarm. It also clarifies why illnesses that hurt our cellular power plants, such as rare mitochondrial disorders or the lingering exhaustion of long COVID, hit people with a wall of fatigue they can't power through. But here's where it gets controversial. If our mitochondria are responsible for controlling our sleep patterns, does that mean we can manipulate our energy levels by tweaking our mitochondrial function? The answer is still unclear, but one thing is certain. This breakthrough has opened up new avenues for research into the mysteries of sleep. And this is the part most people miss, the connection between our mitochondria and our overall health. By understanding how our cellular powerhouses work, we can gain insights into the underlying mechanisms of various diseases and develop new treatments. So the next time you're feeling tired, remember that it's not just your brain that's complaining. It's your mitochondria crying out for help. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be able to harness the power of our mitochondria to boost our energy levels and live healthier, happier lives. What do you think? Can we really manipulate our energy levels by tweaking our mitochondrial function? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Why do we sleep? The surprising answer lies in our brain's power overload. Ever felt so exhausted that your eyelids feel like they're made of lead and your brain just can't focus? We've all been there. But have you ever wondered why this happens? A groundbreaking study using fruit flies might have just uncovered the cellular secret behind our overwhelming need for sleep. And this is the part most people miss. It's not just about rest. It's about a tiny yet powerful part of our cells called mitochondria. Researchers from the University of Oxford have discovered that these microscopic energy factories play a crucial role in signaling when our bodies desperately need sleep. But here's where it gets controversial. They suggest that mitochondria cause a metabolic overload in the neurons responsible for regulating sleep. In simpler terms, this overload is like your brain's low battery warning, and sleep is the only way to recharge it. Without this reset, the brain can't maintain its health, leading to a cascade of issues. Physiologist Gero Meisenbach explains, "We embarked on this journey to understand the fundamental purpose of sleep and why it's non-negotiable for survival." Despite decades of research, a clear physical trigger had eluded us until now. The team's findings point to aerobic metabolism, the very process that fuels our bodies, as the key to this mystery. By studying sleep-regulating neurons in fruit flies, organisms with enough biological similarities to humans for meaningful research, the scientists compared well-rested and sleep-deprived flies. They identified significant differences in gene activity and electrical signaling. Overworked mitochondria in sleep-deprived brains were found to leak electrons, producing harmful waste products. These toxins send sleep-regulating neurons into overdrive, making sleep an urgent biological priority. Neuroscientist Raffaele Sanataro warns, electron leakage from mitochondria is dangerous. It generates reactive molecules that can damage cells, and this damage accumulates if we don't sleep. To test this, the researchers genetically engineered flies to produce more or fewer electrons in their sleep-regulating cells. As expected, flies with higher electron production slept more, while those with reduced levels slept less. Of course, sleep is influenced by other factors, like caffeine intake and the alignment of your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. As Sanataro puts it, this study solves one of biology's greatest puzzles. Why do we need sleep? The answer seems to be embedded in how our cells convert oxygen into energy. But here's the thought-provoking part. If sleep is primarily about resetting mitochondrial overload, does this mean we could one day engineer solutions to reduce our sleep needs without harming our health? Or is sleep so deeply intertwined with our biology that any attempt to alter it would be risky? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's spark a discussion. Unlocking the mystery of sleep, the role of mitochondria in our brains. Your brain's tiny powerhouses, known as mitochondria, might play a surprising role in when you hit the hay. A fascinating study on fruit flies suggests that these cellular energy factories in the brain signal it's time to sleep when they detect the insects have been awake for too long. Interestingly, this mechanism could also apply to humans. Scientists have been piecing together how the brain reacts to sleep deprivation for some time. They've observed changes in how neurons fire, alterations in cellular structures, and shifts in gene expression. They've even pinpointed specific brain cells that activate when sleep begins. However, what triggers these neurons to start firing has remained a mystery. Sleep is one of the biggest puzzles in biology, explains Gero Meisenbuk from the University of Oxford. To delve deeper, Meisenbuk and his team studied the genes active in sleep-regulating neurons of about 1,000 female fruit flies. These flies typically sleep for 13 to 16 hours a day, usually at night. The researchers split the flies into two groups. Half were allowed a full night's sleep, while the others were kept awake, either by gently shaking their containers or by genetically modifying them to keep their wake-promoting neurons active with a temperature increase. In the sleep-deprived flies, the team found that the neurons responsible for inducing sleep increased the activity of genes involved in maintaining and operating their mitochondria. These energy-producing structures also showed signs of stress, such as breaking down into smaller pieces and initiating repair processes. This stress could stem from the mitochondria continuously producing energy even when the neurons are not active. This leads to a buildup of electrons that leak out, creating free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage DNA, and ultimately signaling the need for sleep, according to Meisenbuk. When these flies were finally allowed to sleep, the mitochondrial damage was repaired. The study also revealed that flies with fragmented mitochondria in their sleep-regulating neurons slept less than normal and didn't catch up on lost sleep even after being kept awake. Conversely, flies with genetically enhanced mitochondrial fusion, suggesting better repair capabilities, slept more than usual and exhibited a stronger rebound after sleep deprivation. These findings support the idea that mitochondria play a role in sleep pressure. In another experiment, the researchers engineered flies to have increased mitochondrial activity in response to light. They found that just 1 hour of exposure to light increased sleep duration by as much as 20 to 25% compared to control flies. While the study focused on fruit flies, not humans, mitochondria are quite similar across different species. This research supports the notion that aerobic metabolism, the process of producing energy from nutrients and oxygen, which occurs within the mitochondria of most animals, can drive sleep pressure in humans, says Ryan Mailu from McGill University. This new understanding could eventually lead to innovative sleep treatments. This gives us new avenues to target these pathways and develop effective ways to treat sleep disorders, Mailu explains. Michele Bellesi, from the University of Camerino in Italy, calls the study strong and thought-provoking, but questions its design. Sleep deprivation is more than just extended wakefulness. It can introduce additional stresses that may trigger cellular responses beyond those directly related to sleep pressure buildup, he notes. In response, Miesenboek points out that his team used various methods to keep the flies awake, including gene editing through temperature changes that are normal and non-stressful for the insects, and all methods had the same effects on mitochondria. What this study has revealed is that the sleep homeostat actually monitors its own mitochondria to estimate the need for sleep, he says.